Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are tackling a common issue on a Mazda MX-5, a failing AC evaporator. Today we are working on a 2017 Mazda MX-5 RF GT. I'm going to walk you through the entire replacement process step by step so you can get your AC blowing cold air again. Let's get started. Now let's start by removing the negative terminal from the battery and double check that your AC system is completely empty so there is no any AC gas released onto the environment. Now there is two clamps on the hoses that go to the heater core. Just remove those clamps and remove the hoses. Now remove the 10mm bolt and the two pipes that goes onto the evaporator. Now you can see all the UV dye that we used to diagnose this issue. Now let's move on to the interior of the car. Let's start with the gear knob, remove the cap and the clip on the interior. Now you can pull it up and disconnect the gear indicator lights. Now we remove the media controller buttons and the parking brake boot. There is two screws on the front and now you can remove the center console. With the center console out, now you can pull the bottom trim and disconnect the electric roof controller and the seat heater switch. Now let's move on to the side panels. Remove all the trims, including the A-pillar trims and speakers on each side so we can easily remove the dash later on. Then we're going to start removing all the dash attachments, starting with the passenger knee pad, which is just one bolt on the bottom, and then you can pull it out. Be careful with all these trims so you don't break anything. Next step is the AC vent and the hazard switch. Just pull it out and disconnect the switch from the back. Now we are moving on to the driver's side. Remove the airbag using a Phillips screwdriver to push out the three clips from the back. Disconnect the airbag and remove the steering wheel nut. Now disconnect the bonnet release, a 10mm bolt on the bottom, switch panel and OBD2 port. There is two screws on the steering wheel column trims. Take them off and now you can take the trims off. Pull the tachometer trim out. Disconnect and put back the microphone onto the trim. Now you will find two screws on the tachometer, one on the left and one on the right. Take them off and carefully pull it out. Then you will find just one connection on the back. Disconnect and take it off. Disconnect all the steering wheel connections and pull out the steering wheel. Remove the three clips from the clock spring and carefully put it on the side. Disconnect the washer and light indicator levers. And now we can move on to the four nuts holding the steering wheel column. You don't have to remove it, just put it down. Pull the last trim out and disconnect the start-stop button switch. Now remove the screws for the AC unit controls, pull it out and disconnect on the back. For the screen there is just one bolt and then you can just pull it out and disconnect. Finally we can remove the dash. Take off the bracket. There is held by two bolts and two nuts on the side. Then there is another bolt just above the steering column. The dash is held by two bolts on each side. The bottom bolt will not come out, so make sure you keep your doors fully open. Now we have to disconnect the airbag module. It is located behind the center console. Move your seats forward and remove all the trims on the driver's side so you get just enough space to put your hand in and disconnect it. Now the dash is ready to come out. Take your time and remove all the connections and clips that are still connected to the chassis. Keep an eye on where all the wire harnesses go, so it is easier for you to put it back once you have finished. For the AC duct, there is 2 nuts on the top and 1 on the bottom. For the AC unit, there is another bolt on the top and 1 more on the bottom. This is also a good opportunity to check your AC condensation drain seal and pipe. If they require replacement, you just have to remove the subwoofer on the floor rest and the bracket will come right out. With the AC unit out, remove the screws that hold the evaporator cover, and now you can pull out and disconnect the evaporator. You now see all the UV dye leaking on the top of the evaporator. This is also a good opportunity to clean your blower motor, AC filter, and check there is no leaks on your condenser as well. Make sure everything is clean and tidy, all the screws back in so you avoid any weird rattles in your vehicle. Once the AC unit is finished, we are ready to put everything back together. Let's start by putting the new drain pipe, bracket and seal, the subwoofer, and attach the clean AC unit. It is now time to tie the 2 nuts on the left of the AC unit and the one on the bottom. Put the center AC duct back in place and the 3 nuts with it. Bring your dash back in and start routing all your wiring harness. Do not rush this process. Once the dash is in place, start connecting all the plugs and connections. Once you are sure everything is in the right place, reattach the dash by putting first this side bracket. Then the nut that is just above the steering wheel column. Now put the screws that hold the dash from the sides, 2 on each side. After these 4 screws are all back in, now you can close the doors again. Reconnect the screen, push it in place, and put the bolt on the bottom. Now reconnect the AC control unit and put the screws that hold it in place. Don't forget to connect the hose on the right. Now connect the start-stop button and put it back in place. It is now time to reattach the steering column by putting back in the 4 nuts from underneath. You can now put the washer and light switch back in place. Now you can carefully put the clock spring back in place. It has 2 clips on the bottom and 1 at the top. Now reconnect all the cables that connect to the steering wheel column and the clock spring. Start connecting all the wiring harness, including the airbag module and all the center console connections. Connect the tachometer on the back and put the 2 screws that hold it in place. Connect the hazard switch. Reattach the steering wheel. Make sure you keep your alignment. Reconnect the horn, airbag and steering wheel controls and tighten the nut. Reattach the tachometer trim. Reconnect the microphone, lift the hazard switch and put everything back together. Now you can put the airbag back in place. Connect the airbag and push it in. Reattach the OBD port, switch panel plug, AC duct, bonnet release, and put the trim back in place. Put the bolt on the bottom, and now you can attach the steering column trims with the 2 screws from the bottom. Let's go back to the center console. Reconnect the seat heater and roof switch. Put the center console back and attach it with the 2 screws on the front. Put the handbrake boot and clip it in. Reconnect the media controller and clip it in place. Reconnect the gear indicator light and push the trim back in place. Push down the gear knob, secure it with the clip, and put the cover cap. Moving on to the passenger side, reattach the last part of the air conditioning duct and put the dash trim on. Reconnect the speakers on a pillar and reattach the trims on each side. Put back all the leftover trims. Now it is time to reconnect the heated core hoses and the evaporator pipes. Reconnect your battery, recharge your air conditioner system, and enjoy your cold AC.